Start wherever you'd like, Garrett. Let's talk about if we feel like these teams are going to bounce back in 25 or if they're just going to continue on a downward trajectory.
Remind me if you can, because I want to make sure I have this right. Who is Florida State's quarterback going to be this year? I I
Yeah,
think it's Frank Castellanos, right? Didn't
yeah,
they didn't
yeah,
they bring him down? I
yeah.
I don't know if that's the upgrade to DJU. Look, Castellanos outplayed DJU at Florida State. Like that happened in front of Florida State's fans, but I don't know that if you're trying to turn a program around like Florida State needs to, I don't know that Castellanos is the guy to do it. Not not trying to take shots at him specifically, but when you're talking about a team like Florida State who was on the cusp of making the playoff, on the cusp of championship contention, quarterback gets hurt and then they don't make the playoff. Again, I disagree with the decision. They should have made the playoff. They deserved it. But didn't make it, get smoked by Georgia in your bowl game, and since then you go 2-10 with just nothing to show for it. Again, you score 15 points a game in there. You lose to just about everybody. I mean, I remember first week of the season, Georgia Tech pulling off the win over Florida State across the pond. That was a huge deal. We were all like, "Oh my gosh, they actually pulled off the upset. They defeated the juggernaut that is Florida State." And then we just kind of like forgot about that because Florida
What
State
would the
got
line
really,
of
really
that
bad.
game if they played that game on the last week of the
Uh,
season, the line would have been like Georgia Tech minus 13 and a half.
Yeah, because and it probably should have been. And so, look, I mean, you can blame the jet lag for Georgia Tech's underperformance, but you can do whatever you need to justify it. But man, like you lose everything. You lose to Memphis at home, and you're losing every game you possibly can. I mean, they
They
beat
somehow beat
Cal.
Cal. They
They beat.
somehow
I
beat
still don't know
Cal.
how they beat
I
Cal.
think the how bad did we get beat graphic was flipped on that one. Like Cal had a
Oh yeah, one of
lot
those
of
like it shouldn't have won. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, you get smoked by Florida at the end of the season. Like Florida didn't have their best year, but they did turn it around. Like DJU was playing better, so I get it. But like, man, the rough season for Florida State. And for as many preview episodes that we did last season talking about games that are going to matter because of Florida State being involved in them, and look out for Notre Dame in November. And they got that big matchup with Miami. That'll be college game day for sure. And oh, they play Clemson. And oh, they got SMU. That's a big, like, we talked about so many of these games mattering. None of them did. They just rolled over. And that's the thing I think was most surprising is, yeah, they played badly, but they didn't like get better. It wasn't like they improved the team and everyone started to play a bunch better all of a sudden. I'm trying to check and see their highest output of points, not counting Charleston Southern because you shouldn't, was 21 points last year. That's atrocious. That's really bad. Every other game was single digits, again, outside of Charleston Southern, which we're not counting. It's really, really rough. And I don't know that I believe that Florida State can turn it around. We've seen what they're capable of, but the meteoric, dissension of this program is going to be something to be studied because this has just been an atrocious Florida State program.
Yeah, if you drew up a dream season for your rival to have, like just a dream
Mm-hmm.
bad season for your rival to have, if you're a Florida fan or a Miami fan, you're like, yeah, let me just think about how bad a Florida State season can conceivably be. This was worse, I
Yes,
think. And I don't think that
you're
that
like
is.
maybe they'll go 5-7 and miss a bowl game. Two
Yeah.
and ten, never
Wouldn't it be
close.
hilarious if they went 4-8 and lost to Memphis somehow? Yeah, no, let's try
No, they
two
did.
and 10. Let's try 2-10.
God,
And that just should not happen. And for Mike Norvell to be able to survive that, I know is largely a product of signing an extension and a buyout. And I don't know why schools are still doing this at this point. It rarely works out unless you have a guy that literally has national championship skins on the wall.
mm-hmm.
And even sometimes then it does not work
Yep,
out with
yep.
national championship skins on the wall. Um, I he's on the hottest of hot seats going into 2025, and that's just never a good place to be. We talk about it all the time. The number of coaches that come back from that is just abysmally low. Even if they have a nice little bounce back season, long term, you really struggle. This is a reference that most of our audience probably won't get, but Garrett, he reminds me a lot of Billy Kennedy at Texas
Yeah.
A&M as a basketball coach, right? Yeah. Like, obviously, Billy Kennedy, great man, had a lot of extracurriculars. Not that has a bad context, but had
a lot of
health
things
issues.
going his way. Yeah,
had some health issues. Had a lot of things not going his way off the court, but you could just kind of tell early on in his tenure that this wasn't the guy to take over a basketball program that was doing really well. Had one nice, really blip season where everybody said, I told you so. We should believe in him. And then the next year it's right back to the doldrums. And I see that with Mike Norvell. I really have a lot of trouble, a lot of cause for pause to really buy in that he can be the guy to turn this back around and get it back on an upward trajectory. He'll go better than 2-10. So if you want to talk about an upward trajectory, yes, he will win more than 2 games next year. I can almost guarantee that without even looking at their schedule. But program-wise as a whole, I really struggle to buy into him being the guy to get them all the way back.
And if you want the schedule for a moment, the good news is they start the year week 1 playing Alabama at home. And then after that, a couple of nobody games, East Texas A&M Lions and the Kent State Golden Flashes. Those should both be wins. You play Miami at the beginning of October. You got Clemson in there. You play at Clemson. That's beginning of November. You got Florida at the end of the year. Florida looked a lot better with DJU. Like, they could maybe make a little bit of noise next year.
Lagway.
Not DJU, DJ Lagway. Sorry, DJ from the state of Florida, actually good at football. Sorry, I'm so sorry to DJ Lagway. Apologies, DJ Lagway. Your game is so much better than DJU. Sincerest apologies. But no, like they have a couple games on there that could be tricky. You look and you say that they should take care of their business, but we said that about their season last year. So, look, assuming you're taking an L right off the rip to Alabama, you got to get things straight before you play Miami because, oh boy, do you need that win.
Yeah, absolutely right. They've fallen so far behind the other 2 powers in the state, and arguably UCF is right there nipping at their heels too. Now that UCF is in a power conference, so it's really dire straits for Florida State at this point.
Gracious him! How about